Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshvabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Hare Krishna. So I welcome all of you for today's Bhakti Vedanta class. 25th chapter is one of the easiest, simple, quickly finishable, unknown chapter. So that's why with less commentary, less discussion. The three modes of nature and view. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Gunanam Asammishranam Puman Yena Yatha Bhavet Tanme Purusha Varyedam Upadharaya Shamshatah. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O best among men, please listen as I describe to you how the living entity attains a particular nature by association with individual material modes. So in this chapter, we are going to discuss, Srila Siddhara Swami is saying, Panchavimshe Swa Nairgunya Pratipakyai Nirupyate Chitta Prabhava Satvadi Guna Vrittir Anekadha. So what is said in this 25th chapter? Swanairgunya Pratipattaye Nirupyate. So to achieve the transcendental nature, that means to go beyond the modes. So here we are going to discuss in this chapter various kinds of the functions of the modes, like sattva, rajas, tamas. So the functions of the modes in the heart. So that means they are in the heart. Chitta prabhava sattva. That means these modes are influencing the heart. Adi chitta. Chitta means heart. And those modes have different functions. That means different activities. Modes are having the different activities, and based upon that, once nature is formed, Jivatma is purely spirit soul. It doesn't have any, that means material nature, Jivatma. But when it is covered by the Sukshma and Sthula Dehas, this Sukshma Deha means Chittam. In this Chittam, there is an influence. This is the made of, Chitta is made up out of modes. In this Chittam, actually, there are the different functions of the modes. So that means different activities. Modes are affecting this Chitta, and that's why, so there will be different so activities we are seeing. And this pure spirit soul is because of the ahankara, so it is entering into these functions of the mind, which are due to modes. Mind functions depend on the modes. That's why you can say functions of mind are as functions of modes also. So then in that, Atma is entering through, because of what? Ahankara, because of false ego. And unnecessarily it is saying that I am good, I am bad, I am ignorant, these things we are using. But actually, by nature, Jivatma is completely pure. It doesn't have any kind of the, that means, materialistic nature, but it is entering into the so active functions of the modes. So that's why in this, to become transcendental, to go beyond the modes, so we are going to now so discuss these functions of the various modes which influences the heart. Prakriti Purusha Viveka Gnanavatah api yavat prayatna visheshena gunatraya vrittijayaha na syat na tavad dvandvoparamah atah tad jayopayaka kathanaya gunavritti nirupanarthamaha gunanamiti. So what is happening now? In the previous chapter, we learned the Sankhya philosophy. We learned about the various modes, that means, various elements, 24 elements. About the 24 elements, we discussed. But and also Prakriti and Purusha. Prakriti means is comprised of these 24 elements. So how this whole creation is coming from the Supreme Lord, that we understood. But Prakriti and Purusha Viveka Gnanam, just by seeing the difference between Prakriti and Purusha, this is not sufficient actually. This is not sufficient for us. This differentiating knowledge between Prakriti and Purusha is not sufficient. So for what? For coming out from the dualities. To come out from the dualities, we should know functions of gunas also, three gunas. Then only we can come out from dualities. So for that sake, that's why now Krishna is going to explain about Tajayopaya Kathanaya. Tajayopaya means Gunavritti Jayopaya. Gunatraya Vritti. That means how to control the functions of the modes or activities of the modes. So that's why we should know about the various functions of the modes. Saha Mishri Bhuya. Saha, that means Gunanam Asammishranam. That means Saha Mishri Bhuya Vartamanaha Samishraha Asamishraha Tesham Vibhaktanam Gunanam Madhye Yena Gunena Yaya Yadrisho Bhavet Tadidam Katayata Mattaha Nibodha. That means individual gunas. So what they are going to do? So that you please explain. So please listen as I describe to you how the living entity attains a particular nature by association with individual material modes. Individual material modes. So that means when Sattva is prominent, what it is going to do? That means Rajaguna, what it is going to do? Tamoguna. Individually he wants. He is going to say. So that's why we are going to see in this chapter some activities in the goodness, some activities in the passion, some activities in the ignorance. So Panchavimshe nirupyate sattvaadi gunavrittayah gunayuktani vastuni gunatitanyapi kramat. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying, in this chapter we are going to discuss about the functions of sattva, rajas and tamas, and also we are going to discuss various vastuni, objects which comprised of three gunas and which are beyond the gunas. Yeah, so those two things we are going to discuss. Namishranam asamishraha gunantara. Okay, same thing. So that means individual gunas nature we are going to activities we are going to know. So 2 to 5. Samodamasti titiksheksha tapas satyam daya smritihi tushtit styago spruha shraddha hrirdaya diswanirvritihi kamaiha madastrishna stamba ashirbida sukham madotsaho yasha pritir hasyam viryam balodyamah क्रोधो लोभो नृतं हिंसा यांचा दंभः क्लमः क्ललिः शोकमोहो विषादार्ति निद्राशा भीरनुद्यमः सत्वस्य रजश्चैता तमसश्चानुपूर्वशः वृत्तयो वर्णितप्रायाः सन्निपातमतो शृणु. Mind and sense control, tolerance, discrimination, sticking to one's prescribed duty, truthfulness, mercy, careful study of the past and future, satisfaction in any condition, generosity, renunciation of sense gratification, faith in the spiritual master, being embraced at proper action, charity, simplicity, humbleness, and satisfaction with oneself are qualities of the mode of goodness. Material desire, great endeavor, audacity, dissatisfaction, even in gain, false pride, praying for material advancement, considering oneself different and better than others, sense gratification, rash eagerness to fight, a fondness for hearing oneself praised, the tendency to ridicule others, advertising one's own prowess and justifying one's action by one's strength and qualities of the mode of passion, intolerant anger, what is that? Stinginess, speaking without scriptural authority, violent hatred, living as a parasite, hypocrisy, chronic fatigue, quarrel, lamentation, delusion, unhappiness, depression, sleeping too much, false expectations, fear, and laziness constitute the major qualities of the mode of ignorance. Now, please hear about the combination of these three modes. Sattva so shamaha iti iksha vekaha aspruha vairagyam punardaya daya dana gati rakshana ityeshu iti smaranat adi shabdena arjavam venayascha. Okay, this I don't think we'll go na. Yeah. These words, Mataji, you need any explanation?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Sambalam Rao is saying yes because you are going to say yes. He said he's saying. Mataji, इसमें क्या सीखना है actually?
What Acharyas has wrote.
Huh?
What Acharyas has written in that.
No, nothing they wrote actually. That's why.
Then go on, Prabhuji.
What word meaning they gave? They didn't give anything.
Okay, Prabhuji.
So here we are seeing the three gunas individually. So what the activities, those gunas, what they are going to produce. Controlling mind is sattva-guna, tolerance. So generally jnanis, they will be cultivating these qualities. Especially jnanis, they cultivate in the goodness. We have seen that jnanis, they try to cultivate activities in goodness so that they can get the knowledge. So, but in this also, these are all needed for whom? In our diagram, where we need to focus? Varnashram actually. And also, in the Gnana Marga, in the Gnana Marga, to increase the Sattva-guna, they do. So Vichara, that's why. And in this area, there is no need actually. This area is no need. This completely is free from modes. This is free from modes. And even we should not practice this. If you practice, then it will become Gnana Mishra Bhakti. Then it is. So, but in this area, some people may do in this area because they are having inclination. Sometimes you see who are already practicing Gnana, influence of the Jnanis association. If they come in association of the devotee, then he will be doing the Gnana also along with the karma because he came from the karmi side. So that's why he is karma Gnana Mishra Bhakta. So they might be practicing all this. But in the activities in the Rajas and Tamas, these people will be doing anyway, karmis. So karmi will be practicing. So Rajas and Tamas. That's a Gunadosha. Try to based upon the Varanas. So some who are in the mode of fashion, some activities are prescribed for them. Those are guna for them. So those same activities may be dosha for others. Same activities. Who are in the Sattva-guna, for them, the prescribed duties of the prescribed duties for Rajas, who are in the Rajas, are different actually. So that's why point is this kind of classification and understanding is needed for karmis, and also till if you don't become Ananya Bhakta, at that time it may need. But one who is entering into the Ananya Bhakti, he will stop practicing the Gnana, and he will be simply dependent on, since he got the 100% Shraddha, so he will be practicing only Ananya Bhakti. So we already learned that he will leave, that means karma gnana sadhanas, and fully dependent. Then he is known as what? Madhyama Bhakta, based upon sadha. Yes, sadhaka, Madhyama Bhakta. We discussed in the previous chapters. He is a Madhyama Bhakta based upon sadhana. So what is his confidence? Why he left the practicing the good qualities? Because his confidence is Bhakti can produce everything. So Subhada, that means that's why, because of that confidence, he is living. He is having full Shraddha on the Bhakti. Otherwise, so these meanings and those things are, you can easily understand. Next, Sannipatastva Sannipataствahамiti mametyuddavayamati vyavahara sannipato manomatrindriyasubhi. My dear Uddhava, the combination of all the three modes is present in the mentality of I and mine. The ordinary transactions of this world, which are carried out through the agency of the mind, the objects of perception, the senses, and the vital airs of the physical body, are also based on the combination of modes. Everything, so mana buddhi ahankar, everything are comprised of these three modes. That's the point he's saying. Everything in this material world is made up of these three modes. Aham iti mameti, aham mameti iti, aham mameti yamatihi sa sannipataha tatascha manadibihi sarvaha api vyavaharaha sannipatah iti anvayah. Yadi kadachit shamadhi शमादिकादि क्रोधादीनां युद्रेके भवेत् तदा अयं पुरुषः मूर्तः शमः इति मूर्तः कामः इति मूर्तः क्रोधः इति उच्यते. तो तेन पुरुषेण व्यावहारिकाणाम् अहंकार ममकार मूलकः लौकिकः कोऽपि व्यवहारः न सिद्ध्यते. अतिशान्तस्य अहंकार ममकारयोः स्वतः एव अभावात् कामान्धस्य क्रोधान्धस्य च अहम् अमुकस्य प्रतिष्ठितस्य पुत्रः मम अनुचितम् इदं तु उचितम् इति विवेक गन्धस्य अपि अभावादेव सतोः अपि तयोः अभावात् व्यवहार सिद्धिस्तु. So if anyone is getting, so what is said here, if kamadi shamadikadi krodadi inam atyudrekah bhavet yadi kadachit, that means if sometimes shamadikadi krodadi nam atyudrekah bhavet, if they are increasing, then ayam purushaha murtaha shamaha iti मूर्तः कामः इति मूर्तः क्रोधः इति उच्यते. तेन पुरुषेण व्यावहारिकाणाम् अहंकार ममकार मूलकः लौकिकः. So if someone is simply, actually what is said, this is soul and this is the subtle body, and because of the rajoguna then there is, so lust is there. So then that person is called as this purushaha shamaha or purushaha kamaha. This person is lust. Like this we can call. We will, because of what? Because of ahankara actually. So we are seeing the soul is non-different from the vritti which is produced in this, so antakarana. So because this ahankara is bringing the oneness between this and this, merging, means tadatmita. Because of ahankara happens. Anyway, this is a very known things. The illusory concept I and mine occurs by mixture of the three modes of nature. A person in goodness may feel I am peaceful. One in passion may think I am lusty. And one in ignorance may think I am angry. Similarly, one may think my peace, my lust, my anger. So one completely absorbed in the mentality of being peaceful couldn't work in the material world. So he would lack any impulse to perform activity. Similarly, one absorbed in the lust would be blinded without at least a tinge of peacefulness or restraint. One who overwhelmed with anger couldn't function properly in the material world without a mixture of their qualities. Thus we find that material modes doesn't occur in pure, isolated from, so but rather in mixed with other modes, thereby making possible normal function within in this world. So ultimately one should think I am eternal self. Actually here what happens, if you see the Sankhya philosophy, these are Sattva-guna, Rajas and Tamas. Sattva-guna is Guru. And it is, Tamoguna is Guru. Rajoguna is Laghu. That means very light. Sattva-guna is very light. And Tamoguna is also very heavy. So these two are not at all function. If some activity is happening, so who is needed? Uttejika. Who is the Uttejika? Rajoguna, Rajas. So because of Raja only one activity happens. Even Sattva-guna needs the help of Rajoguna. Also Tamoguna needs the help of Rajoguna. Then only they will function. Our simple Rajoguna is there. So if there is no cooperation of Sattva-guna, one cannot do anything. So he is full of lust and he cannot do anything. And one is purely Tamoguna also cannot do anything. So that means all these gunas So need the balance. That means some help of cooperation of other gunas. So in this world, that's why all the activities are out of these three gunas. But you can see something is prominent, then you are calling that as he is in goodness. So, but that means it doesn't mean that he is not influenced by other gunas. He is influenced by other gunas only, but prominently is influenced by that guna. Then you can say shamaha. That means he is controlled and he is lusty or he is ignorant. Like that we say. So that is a point. That means here in this sloka, what he said, whatever is so activity is happening, that is because of three modes. By one mode, nothing can happen. धर्मे चार्दे च कामे च यदा सौ परिनिष्ठितः गुणानां सन्निकर्षोऽयं श्रद्धा रतिधनावः. When a person devotes himself to religiosity, economic development, and sense gratification, the faith, wealth, and sensual enjoyment obtained by his endeavors displays the interaction of three modes of nature. These three modes, yeah. असो पुरुष यदा धर्मादिषु परिनिष्ठितः भवति तदा अयं त्रिषु धर्मादिषु निष्ठारूपः सन्निकर्षः सन्निपात कार्यम धर्मादीनां सत्वरजस्तम कार्यत्वात् विषयतः सन्निपातजत्वं सो उक्तम फलतश्च तदात्वम् आह श्रद्धा रति धनानि सत्वरजस्तमो मयानि. Shraddha Rati Dhanani. Shraddha is out of Sattva-guna, Rati out of Rajoguna, Dhana. Tamas, Tamomayani. Or otherwise, all three are with the three. What is that he is saying? Whoever is influenced by three gunas, they will be doing this karmis. They will be doing the dharma, artha, kama, moksha activities. Dharma, artha, kama. So not moksha, dharma, artha, kama. So whoever influenced by these three modes, they will be doing the dharma, artha, kama. That is said, dharmecha, arthecha, kamecha. Yada sau parinishtitah. So gunanam sannikarsho ayam shraddha rati dhanavaha. So someone is following the dharma means what? Dharma, following dharma is out of which guna? Sattva. Artha? Tamo. Kama? Rajo. So kama is a product of the Rajoguna. Artham, dhanam is the product of Tamoguna. And dharma, following dharma is out of Sattvaguna. So that's why dharmadinam sattva tamo raja karyatvat vishayatah sannipatajatvam uktam falatascha tadhatvamah shraddha rati dhanani sattva rajas tamo mayanya. So then what is that result is coming? Dharma means one to follow dharma, one needs the shraddha. So next so kamaha will be rati and artha means dhana. धनावहः. Okay. Because of influence of the modes, he is acting in these three things: dharma, artha, kama. So for that, he has to carry Shraddha, Rati, and Dhan. Next, Pravritti Lakshane Nishta Puman Yerihi Guna Ashrame. So, Gruhashrame. Swadharme Chanutishtheta Gunanam Samiti Sa. When a man desires sense gratification being attached to family life, and when he consequently becomes established in religious and occupational duties, the combination of the modes of nature is manifest. So dharma nishtayameva sannipatam darshati. Pravritti lakshane kamya dharme yada pumsah nishta bhavati tada puman yada gruhashrama eva asaktah तिष्ठेत अनु पश्चात स्वधर्मे च नित्यनैमित्तिके तिष्ठेत सापि समितः सन्निपातः हि यस्मात् काम्य धर्म गृहासक्ति स्वधर्म रजस्तम सत्वमयाः. So यस्मात् काम्य धर्म गृहासक्ति काम्य धर्म गृहासक्ति स्वधर्मः रजस्तम सत्वमयाः इत्यर्थः. So that's why now next what is said here, when a man desires sense gratification being attached to family life, and when he is consequently becomes attached to in religious and occupational duties. According to Srila Sridhar Swami, religious duties performed for promotion to heaven are understood to be in the mode of passion. Those performed to enjoy ordinary family life is in mode of ignorance, and those performed selflessly to fulfill one's occupational duty in the varnashrama system are in the mode of goodness. So that's why it is said here. Kamya dharma gruhasakti swadharmaha rajas tamas sattvamayah. Swadharmaha sattvamayah, or gruhasakti is the out of the tamaha, and kamya means getting the heavenly planets, that is out of rajoguna. So being in this influenced by three modes, he will be practicing dharma, artha, kama, and also he is trying to fulfill the various desires. Next, purusham sattvam samyuktam anumiyat chamadibhi kamadibhi rajoyuktam krodadhyastamasa. So a person exhibiting qualities such as self-control is understood to be predominantly in the mode of goodness. Similarly, a passionate person is recognized by his lust, and one in ignorance is recognized qualities such as anger. This is okay. Yada bhajati mam bhaktya nirapeksha swakarmabhihi tam sattva prakritim vidyad purusham striyameva va. A person, whether a man or a woman, who worships me with loving devotion, offering his or her so prescribed duties under me without material attachment, is understood to be situated in goodness. This is what karmarpanam. So this is karmarpanam actually. So this here, karmarpanam here or here, they are situated in good because they are offering the results of their prescribed duties to the Lord. So karma bihi. So nirapeksha bhaktya mam bhajati. So then he is tam sattva prakriti. Nishkam. That means aropasiddha. Karmarpanam. So, Tadevam Mishra Gunavatya Pradarshi Idanim Puman Yatha Bhave. Okay, next. Yada Ashisha Ashasya Mam Bhajeta Swakarmabihi Tam Raja Prakritim Vidyat Himsha Ashasya Tamasam. When a person worship me by his prescribed duties with the hope of gaining material benefit, his nature should be understood to be in the passion. And one who worships me with the desire to commit violence against others is in ignorance. So it's Rajasic Bhakti and Tamasic Bhakti. Doing Bhakti, no, prescribed duties, no? So not so that means he is offering his results of the karma, so for out of benefit, then Sakama Aropa Siddha Bhakti. And he is doing this offering of his prescribed duties out of the violence, to commit violence, the desire to commit violence, then it is in the ignorance. Sattvam rajastamaiti guna jivasya naiva me chittajayestu bhutanam sajjamano nipadyate. The three modes of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance, influence the living entity, but not me. So Krishna is not affected by the gunas. Manifesting within his mind, they induce the living entity to become attached to material bodies and other created objects. In this way, the living entity is bound up. Lord is not at all affected by the modes, but Jiva is influenced by the modes. So being influenced by the modes, what is happening? Then this Jiva is attached to material bodies and other created objects. In this way, the living entity is bound up. Yadetaro jaye sattvam bhaswaram vishadam shivam tada sukhena vujjeta dharmagnanadi bhipuman. When the mode of goodness, which is luminous, pure and auspicious, predominate over passion and ignorance, a man becomes endowed with happiness, virtue, knowledge, and other good qualities. So when goodness is increased in anyone, that means influence of goodness is more, then he will be, so virtue and knowledge and happiness, many things you can see. Yada jayetam sattvam rajas sangam vidachalam tada dukkena yujjeta karmana yashashashriya. When the mode of passion is increasing, which causes attachment, separatism, and activity, conquers ignorance, so and goodness. That means rajas is over, tamas and sattva is down. Then man is attached to material things. He will make the groupism. A man begins to work hard to acquire prestige and fortune. Okay, this is the mode of, and thus in the mode of passion, he experiences anxiety and struggle. Yada jayetra sattvam tamo modam layam jadam yujjeta shoka mohabhyam nidraya himshaya shaya. So when the mode of ignorance is conquering passion and goodness, then it covers one's consciousness and makes one foolish and dull, falling into lamentation and illusion. A person in the mode of ignorance sleeps excessively, indulges in false hopes, and displays violence toward others. So, ज़्यादा नींद आता है, too much sleeping, is in the mode of ignorance. Yada chittam prasideta indriyanam cha nirvritihi dehe bhayam mano sangam tatsattvam viddhi yat matpadam. So when the consciousness becomes clear and the senses are detached from matter, one experiences fearlessness within the material body and a detachment from the material mind. You should understand this situation to be the predominance of the mode of goodness, in which one has to opportunity to realize me. So that's why when you should understand this situation to be there. So because in the mode of goodness, one should try, that means understand the absolute truth. It is possible. So that's why one should try to be in the mode of goodness, live in such a place where its goodness is more, and do the activities, so goodness will increase. The whole society should be brought into the goodness so that they can think for the absolute truth and they will make the life success. Otherwise, they cannot understand what is right and wrong. So then their opportunity to progress is going down. So that's why mode of goodness is, cultivation of mode of goodness is important. When your Ananya Bhakta is completely free, from all the modes. But before that, the activities are all free from the modes. But when one is not Ananya Bhakta, he is doing the Karma Mishra Bhakti, then this karma should be the, according to the modes, that should be the such a karma one should do which uplifts the consciousness. Vikurvan kriyaya chadir anivrittischa chetasam gatra swastyam mano brantam raja etair nishamaya. You should discern the mode of passion by its symptoms, the distortion of the intelligence because of too much activity, the inability of the perceiving senses to disentangle themselves from the mundane objects, and an unhealthy condition of the working physical organs, and the unsteady perplexity of the mind. These are the because of passion. Next, sadit Sidachitam viliyeta chetaso grahane kshamam mano nashtam tamo glanis tamasas tadupadaraya. When one is higher awareness fails and finally disappears, and one is thus unable to concentrate his attention, his mind is ruined and manifest ignorance and depression. You should understand this situation to be the predominance of the mode of ignorance. Edamane gune satve devanam balamedate asuranam cha rajase tamasya uddhava rakshasam. So with the increase of the mode of goodness, the strength of the demigods similarly increases. When passion increases, the demonic becomes strong. And with the rise of the ignorance, O Uddhava, the strength of the most increases. So now the present society is full of mode of passion and ignorance. So that's why demons are more powerful. Their agendas will be fulfilled. Devatas are out. And also ignorance is also more. So that's why wicked people, weakness will increase. Satvad jagaranam vidyat rajasa swapnamadishate prasvapam tamasa jantos turiyam trishu santama. It should be understood that alert, awakefulness, jagruti is because of sattva-guna, so sapna because of rajas, and sushupti because of tamoguna, and all you know all this. So turiyam, that is the fourth stage, is because of goodness, sorry, vishuddha sattva. Upari upari gachanti satvena brahmana janaha tamasadoda amukyad rajasantara charinaha. 11 persons are dedicated to Vedic culture are elevated by the mode of goodness to higher and higher positions. The mode of ignorance, on the other hand, forces one to fall headfirst into lower and lower births. And by the mode of passion, one continues transmigrating through human bodies. So that's why we already know these 14 planets. Prithvi is Rajas, so higher is Sattva, so lower is Tamas. If you are in the mode of Rajas, then you will be in the Earth planet, always rotating here only. And lower, Tamoguna is increasing down, Sattva-guna increasing up. Yeah. Bhagavad Gita, this is self-study chapter actually, really. But अब anyway 10 मिनट में पूरा कर देंगे इसको. या भक्ति वेदांत इसके लिए सब नहीं पढ़ाना है. क्या है इसको? सत्वे प्रलीन स्वर्यांति नरलोकम रजोलमा तमो लयास्तु निरयम yanti mameva nirguna. Those who live this world in the mode of goodness go to heavenly planets. Those who pass away in the mode of passion remain in the world of human beings. And those dying in the mode of ignorance must go to hell. But those who are freed from the influence of modes of nature come to me. Madarpanam nishphalam va satvikam nija karma tat rajasam phala sankalpam himsa prayadi tamasam. Work performed as an offering to me without consideration of the fruit is considered to be the mode of goodness. That means nishkama arop siddha bhakti. Work performed with a desire to enjoy the result In the mode of passion, it is sakama, so Arab Siddha Bhakti. And work impelled by the violence and envy in the mode of ignorance, that is sakama only, but that is sakama mein, that kama desire is there, but that is also not the account of Vedas, that kama. So avihita kama. कैवल्यं सात्विकं ज्ञानं रजो वैकल्पिकं च यत् प्राकृतं तामसं ज्ञानं मन्निष्ठं निर्गुणं स्मृतम्. Absolute knowledge is in the mode of goodness. Knowledge based on dualities is in the mode of passion, and foolish materialistic knowledge is in the mode of ignorance. So absolute knowledge means is in the mode of goodness, means absolute knowledge means what? Knowledge about the Brahman. So Brahma Gnanam is in the mode of goodness. Bhakti is transcendental only. Bhagavad Gnanam is not in the mode of goodness. So knowledge based upon the dualities is in the mode of passion. And foolish materialistic knowledge is in the mode of ignorance. Knowledge based upon me, however, is understood to be transcendental. That means Manishtam means so knowledge about the Krishna. Kaivalyam, Satvikam Kaivalyam means Brahma Gnanam. Brahma Gnanam is in the goodness. Srila Jiva Goswami elaborates, explains in his commentary on this verse that material mode of goodness doesn't award perfect knowledge of the absolute truth. He quotes from the Srimad Bhagavatam 6:14, proving that many great demigods in the mode of goodness couldn't understand the transcendental personality of Lord Krishna. So that's why Bhagavad Gnanam is not out of goodness, it is transcendental. It should be given by the devotees, sadhu sangha. Because of sadhu sangha, one is getting the bhakti. So through bhakti only one can understand the Lord's form. So that's why Bhagavad Gnanam is in the mode of not any modes. In the material mode of goodness, one becomes pious and religious, aware of higher and spiritual nature. On the spiritual platform of purified goodness, however, one establishes a direct, loving relationship with absolute truth, rendering service to the Lord rather than merely maintaining a connection to mundane piety. In the mode of passion and conditioned soul speculates about the reality of his own existence of the world around him and considers speculatively the existence of kingdom of God. In the mode of ignorance, one acquires knowledge for sense gratification, absorbing in the mind of varieties of eating, sleeping, defending, and sex without any higher purpose. Thus, within the mode of nature, the conditioned souls are trying to gratify their senses, or else they are trying to free themselves from sense gratification, but they cannot directly engage themselves in their constitutional liberated activities until they come to the transcendental position of Krishna consciousness beyond the modes of nature. So being in the devotee, so one is completely out of the modes, not the others. Vanantu satviko vaso gramo rajasa uchyate tamasam dyota sadanam anniketam tu nirgunam. So residence in the forest is in the mode of goodness. Residence in the town, it is in the mode of passion. Residence in gambling house displays the quality of ignorance. And the residence in the place of where I reside is transcendental. That's in temple. If you stay, then that is transcendental. So satvika karako sangi ragando rajasasmritaha tamasa smriti vibrashto nirguna madapashtaya. A worker free of attachment is in the mode of goodness. A worker blinded by personal desire is in the mode of passion, and a worker who has completely forgotten how to tell right from wrong in the mode of ignorance. But a worker who has taken shelter of me. So worker means is a sevaka. So who taken shelter of me, understood to be transcendental to the modes of nature. Okay, this is direct. Next, सात्विक्याध्यात्मिकी श्रद्धा कर्म श्रद्धा तो राजसी तामस्य धर्मे या श्रद्धा मत्सेवायाम तो निर्गुणा. So faith directed towards the spiritual life is in the mode of goodness. So faith rooted in fruitive work is in the mode of passion. Faith residing in the irreligious activities is in the mode of ignorance. But faith in the my devotional service purely transcendental. तो 1 मिनट इसका देखना पड़ेगा अभी. Actually, Shraddha is not Bhakti here. Shraddha means Shraddha is in the we say it is not part of the bhakti. It is just a qualification of the bhakti, because it is not the anga of the bhakti. Don't. Here Shraddha is defined as, there for the Ananya Bhaktis, the Shraddha is defined as what? Shastrartha Vishwasaha. There Shraddha is just a anga of Shastra Abhidheya, Shastra Abhidheya Avadharanasya Angam. That means it is just a part of a limb, it is a limb for the grasping the conclusions of the Shastras. There, according to the Ananya Bhakti. Here what? Kriya Pravrutti Hetu Bhutaya. क्रिया प्रवृत्ति हेतु भूतायाः श्रद्धायाः अपि आहा. Here Shraddha is nothing but the it's a reason to perform kriya. कुछ दिए ही नहीं कोई, कुछ तो बोलना. विश्वनाथ भी दिए नहीं. Matsevaayam to nirguna. So the faith in my devotional service is purely transcendental. Whatever we see that Shraddha is in which mode? Shastrartha Vishwasaha.
Mode of goodness, Prabhuji.
Huh?
Mode of goodness.
Shraddha is in which? Is it Satviki or Rajasiki? Rajasi, Tamasi, or Nirguna. Ananya Bhakti, the qualification for Ananya Bhakti is, what is that? Ramakrishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hmm.
The aspect of Shraddha is based on the performer. It is not attributed towards the bhakti. So
Yes.
that's what you had explained that, and that could be understood. That the performer can have the Shraddha in terms of his being situated in mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance, whereas the bhakti in itself is not tainted with any of these three modes. So here in this situation, like verse 27, when Satviki Adhyatmika Shraddha, which is referring that faith directed towards spiritual life is in the mode of goodness. So the performer is cultivating mode of goodness, therefore his faith on the Shastras reflect the mode of goodness. Did I understand it correctly like that?
नहीं, मैं जो सोच रहा हूँ क्या बोलना है.
Whatever you say will be the perfect thing.
What is that Shraddha and this Shraddha? Here, Matsevayam to Nirguna. So this Shraddha, whatever we see here, this is the Nirguna Shraddha or the Satviki Shraddha? That's Shastra or Vishwasa.
So at that stage, which is the entry door, it has to be Nirguna only. Because the other Shraddha, what we refer to as the Adav Shraddha, that can be in the three modes. Because the very entry door from where it opens out for the entire Nirguna, as you already previously said. So that Shraddha for the faith has to be not only Shastra Vihita, it should also be on the platform of Nirguna. Otherwise, it can still be a wavering part.
But in that book, he didn't write anything. That was, on that day we were discussing Mat Katado Jata Shraddha. There we discussed that Shraddha. So in which mode he didn't explain. But he said that this Shraddha means what? Shastrartha Vishwasaha. This much he said. So believing the purports of scriptures. Imports. Believing in the imports of the scriptures. Believing in imports of the scriptures is what? Is Satviki or is Nirguna? I think it is Satviki. I think it is Satviki because the first one is that only na here. Satviki Adhyatmiki. Faith directed towards the spiritual life. I think it is Satviki. That's why it is not at all Bhakti also. Yeah.
Prabhuji, I have 2 points to actually refer there. One, he says the last word which says it is Sevaya. Sevaya cannot be aspect of service. I mean, aspect of Shraddha.
Then we have to answer, yeah. Next one is, so Shraddha in Lord's service.
Is Shraddha Lord's service, Prabhu? Because Shraddha is something which is to be
So
the
then what is this Shraddha? Shraddha in Lord's service is what?
Shraddha in Lord's service as referred to, that is Satviki. That is definitely at the lower level only.
Prabhu?
The first 3 lines refers to the 3 different modes in which the performer is cultivating his faith. But whereas the 4th line which says Mat Sevanam to Nirguna is one when he engages with that Shraddha in his service, then that consciousness or that existence becomes free from all the modes. This is how I try to understand it, Prabhu.
So where it comes that Shraddha? Nirguna
Definitely
Shraddha.
at the entry. Right at that entry, yes.
And where this comes? Shastartha Vishwasa.
Shastartha Vishwasa is in the lower level, Prabhu. Where you had previously referred to where the Adhav Shraddha with the respect with the Guru and then he starts.
Adhav Shraddha is this only. Adhav is this. Adhav is this. Yes. And Shraddha is this. Entry door. Ado, in Ado also we do the satsanga. Ado
Yeah.
means satsanga.
Yeah.
So we are associating the spiritual master, guru, authentic guru, and so trying to hear from him. And so Shravana Mananam is happening. Nididhya, that means Asambhavana Viparita Bhavanas are destroyed. Shraddha keep on increasing. Shraddha in what? Shraddha in the
Scriptures.
scriptures.
Yes. So that's
Conclusions
Shraddha.
of the scriptures, imports of the scriptures.
So that is here only, no, Prabhu.
That only, then when it become 100, then we said we written here actually.
Correct. So at that time, then the Sevanam starts. Before that, whatever the Seva is happening, it is still in the modes only. Even though his faith is there and his scriptural understandings are there, it is still in the modes.
This is Shastra Vishwasa Prabhu. Pakka. That means 100% Shraddha.
Okay.
Only thing is, in Ado it is less. When it is 100%, this is beginning we wrote. Yes?
So then this is Nirguna? No.
No. This is not in the service, Shraddha. This Shraddha is nothing but what? So Vishwasa in the imports of these scriptures. So what is that import? So whoever is surrendering to the Krishna, they will be fearless. Whoever is not surrendering to the Krishna, they will be fearful.
This is the same as Bhaya Vidya Vinesha said.
So they will be in a fear. So that's why, because they are having this Shraddha, and that means the Shastra Vishwasa, that's why their next step is what? Sharanagati. Because what is the meaning of this Shastra? That meaning,
the conclusion is
surrendering to the surrenderance. The meaning of the scriptures is surrenderance. Then because of that, he is surrendering to the Lord, and with that surrenderance, if he does that bhakti, that means with that bhakti, and when he is doing that bhakti with full, that means with full belief in that bhakti, if he is doing with full Shraddha, means one way you can take the attention also. That activity, whatever he is doing, he is stitching he is making the mala. So that he is doing with Shraddha. That means with attention. Then that is Nirguna. But this is not Nirguna.
Okay. This is clear.
Yeah. Patyam Putamana Tamarham Satmikam Smrutam Rajasam Chendriya Preshtam Tamasam Chartidashusi. Food that is wholesome, pure, and obtained without difficulty is in the mode of goodness. Food that gives immediate pleasure to the senses is in the mode of passion. And food that is unclean and causes distress is in the mode of ignorance. Food in the mode of ignorance causes painful diseases and ultimate, so premature death. Pizza, burger, ye, wo. Pizza. Govinda's pizza. After offering चलो सात्विकम सुखम आत्मोत्थम विषयोत्वम ताजसम तामसम मोहदैन्योत्थम निर्गुणम मदपाश्रयम. Happiness derived from the self is in the mode of goodness. Happiness based on sense gratification is in the mode of passion, and happiness based on delusion and degradation is in the mode of ignorance. But that happiness found within me is transcendental. Okay. Dravyam desha phala kalam gnanam karma cha karaka shraddhavastha krutir nishtha traigunya sarva eva hi. Therefore, the material substance, place, result of activity, time, knowledge, work, the performer of work, faith, state of consciousness, species of life, and this destination after death are all based on the modes of material nature. These are all different or in the different modes. सर्वे गुणमय भावा पुरुष व्यक्ताधिष्ठिताः दुष्टं श्रुतम् अनुध्यातं बुद्ध्या वा पुरुषर्षभ. One second. O best of human beings, all states of material beings are related to the interaction of the enjoying soul and material nature. Whether seen, heard, or heard of, or only conceived within the mind, they are without exception constitute of the modes of nature. Whatever you see here, everything is constitutes of the modes of nature. Everything is out of interaction of modes of the nature. एता संसृतेः पुंसो गुणकर्म निबन्धनाः येने मे निर्जिता सौम्या गुणा जीवेन चित्तजाः भक्ति योगेन मन्निष्ठो मद्भावाय प्रपद्यते. O gentle Uddhava, all these different phases of conditioned life arise from work born of the modes of material nature. The living entity who conquers these modes manifest from the mind can dedicate himself to me by process of devotional service and thus attain pure love for me. 32 देखेंगे एक बार. किंतु येन जीवेन कर्त्रा भक्ति योगेन करणेन इमे गुण निर्जिताः तो समन्निष्ठः निर्गुणः मद्भक्तः मद्भावाय मत्सारूप्याय तथा मद्भावाय मद्दास्य साख्यादि भावार्थं वा प्रपद्यते तत्र यान्ति मामेव निर्गुणः इति. That means if one is, that means all activities can be in the modes. So if anyone does those activities for the Lord, so or for the getting the dasa sakya ityadi, this kind of so bhava, so then those will be transcendental. Those activities considered as transcendental, and those people will reach the Lord. Yanti mameva nirguna iti nirguna madapasha iti madbhaktasya nirgunatvam lakshana. So then the devotee is also nirguna. That activity is also nirguna, and he will also reach the nirguna vastu. Okay, nothing is it. Next, tasma dehamimam labdva gnana vijnana sambhavam guna sangam vinirtuya mam bhajantu vichakshana. Therefore, having achieved this human form of life which allows one to develop full knowledge, those who are intelligent should free themselves from all contamination of the modes of nature and engage exclusively in loving service to the Lord. So that's a goal. That means always one should be engaged in the Sakshat Bhakti, Ananya Bhakti. This ultimately what he is saying here is saying this. So Ananya Bhakti, pure devotion service means what? 24 hours. So direct devotion. Direct devotion means Sakshat Bhakti, means Swarupa Siddha Bhakti. So you cannot do the Karma Mishra Bhakti. Then Karma Mishra Bhakti cannot be pure devotion, because so karma you are offering and are doing the karma along with the bhakti, then the karma is also known as devotion, but the swarupa of the karma is not bhakti, na? So that's why, so offering or doing that karma along with the bhakti, so that's why it's becoming bhakti, but by nature it is not bhakti. So that's why karma mishra bhakti cannot be the ananya bhakti. Only 24 hours direct devotion is only the swarupa siddha bhakti. Then then person is completely in nirguna. But doing karma and offering that, so then he is in the modes. Yeah, doing karma, he is in the modes, but he's offering that to the Lord. Then it became, that karma became the bhakti. So, but while doing, he is in the modes. So that's why only Sakshat Bhakti can be Ananya Bhakti, not the Karma Mishra Bhakti. Which one, Prabhu? That Nisango Mam Bhaje Vidwan Apramatto Jitendriyaha Rajastamascha Vidhyeta Sattvam Samsevaya Munihi. A wise sage, free from all material association and unbewildered, should subdue his senses and worship me. He should conquer the modes of passion and ignorance by engaging himself only with things in the mode of goodness. So that one can come to the spiritual platform by doing the activities in goodness. Next, Sattum Chabi Jayet Yukto Nairapekshena Shanti Dehi Sampadyeta Guna Smukto Jivo Jivam Vihayamam. Then, being fixed in devotional service, the sage should also conquer the material mode of goodness by indifference toward the modes. Thus, pacified with his mind, the spirit soul, freed from the modes of nature, gives up the very cause of his conditioned life and attains me. So that means being fixed in devotional service, the sage should conquer. By fixing in that means by engaging all the body, mind, senses in the devotional service, so one can easily come out from the modes. This is practical. In the Sankhya Purusha, in the Sankhya philosophy, we just learned. But how to come out from modes, now we learn from this chapter actually. Yeah, doing all the direct devotion 24 hours. So one will be completely come out from the modes. So this is. ननु च अस्य तत्सेवायां श्रद्धा निर्गुणा अस्ति अथ च सात्विकाध्यात्मिक श्रद्धा अस्ति राजसी कर्म श्रद्धा तामस्य धर्म श्रद्धा अस्ति एवं तद्भक्तत्वं निर्गुणं सुखम् अस्ति तथा आत्मत्वं विषयोत्वं मोहोत्वं च त्रिगुणमयमपि सुखमस्ति एवमेव उक्तलक्षणं सर्वं नैर्गुण्यं त्रैगुण्यं च अस्ति सो तेन अरारब्धत्वद्भजनेन जनेन किं कर्तव्यम् इति चेत् श्रयतां स यदि केवल भक्तिमान स्यात् तदा भक्त्यैव त्रैगुण्यं. केवल भक्तिमान means pure devotional. Pure devotion means direct sakshat bhakti. So then what will happen? So he is completely freed from the modes. Ime nijjayuhu saumya gunaha. He can conquer all these modes. Bhakti yogena. By doing the bhakti yoga, one can conquer all the modes. Bhakti yoga nityanena. What is that? Purva श्लोकेन यदि च
अनेन पूर्व श्लोकेन
इत्यनेन पूर्व श्लोकेन यदि च प्रधानीभूत भक्तिमान् स्यात् तथा पुनर् अपायांतरमपि त्रैगुण्यजये पुनर् उपायांतरमपि त्रैगुण्यजये अस्ति इत्याह रचयति. सत्व संसेवया सात्विक्यान्येव सेवेति प्रागुक्त प्रकारया नैरपेक्षेण A wise sage free from all material association and unbewildered should subdue his senses and worship me. He should conquer the modes of passion and ignorance by engaging himself only with things in the mode of goodness. This area, this in this area, who can be in this area? So Arop Siddha Bhaktas and Sangha Siddha. That means who are using Arop Siddha and Sangha Siddha means Karma Gnana Mishra Bhaktas. So Sangha Siddha. Who are those? Karma Mishra Bhaktas, Gnana Mishra, otherwise Karma Gnana Mishra. This many types can be here. And this is Shraddha. And from here, Ananya Bhaktas. So what is another name for this Sangha Siddha Bhaktas? Pradhani Bhuta hai yaar. Sangha Siddha Bhaktas also known as Pradhani Bhuta Bhaktas. Yes or no? Because Karma Mishra Bhakti they are doing. Gnana Mishra Bhakti they are doing. Karma Gnana Mishra Bhakti they are doing. If Bhakti Mishra Gnanam, if you say, then Bhakti Mishra Gnanam they are practicing. They are not devotees. These are Guni Bhutas. So these are all Pradhani Bhutas because they came in association of Sadhu, Bhakta, devotee. So these people came in association of devotee. That's why they understood Bhakti, but not able to practice Ananya Bhakti. Okay? If whoever is practicing Ananya Bhakti, what is said in the first line in this very important sloka, this. That's why I'm waiting here. What is saying in the first? Sattvam chabi jayet. 1 second. Numbering गलत है क्या? 34 explanation this is actually. Okay, 34 explanation we are seeing actually, because here numbering is wrong. Is Wrong given, na, actually. Number gadbad diye. Actually, Vishwanath Chakravarti's commentary, whatever is there, that is for the 34 actually. What gave in the Sri Krishna Shankara Shastra, it is given as 35. So anyway, this, so whoever is now is doing this Nirsango 34, I am saying Nisango Mam Bhajet Vidwan Apramatto Jitendriya. Previously we have seen Shraddha, that means Nanucha Yasya Tat Sevayam Shraddha Nirguna Asti. So Ananya Bhaktas, they have Shraddha in the Lord's service. That Shraddha is known as Nirguna Shraddha. Nirguna Atacha Satvikyadmi Adhyatmi Shraddha Pyasti. So Rajasi Karma Shraddha, Tamasi Adharma Shraddha Api Asti. Tad Bhaktittam Nirgunam Sukham Asti. तथा आत्मोत्तम विषयोत्तम मोहोत्तम च त्रिगुणमयमपि सुखम अस्ति एवं उक्त लक्षणं सर्वं नैर्गुण्य त्रैगुण्यं च अस्ति तेन व्हाट इज दैट हियर प्रभु तेन
Tenarabdha.
two ras are there double ra acha
No, only one is there. Tenarabdha tvad bhajanena.
तेन आरब्धत्वात् भजनेन जनेन किम कर्तव्यम इति चेत. That means now you have many types of sukham is there, many types of shraddham is there. So tena arabdhatvat tad bhajanena jane bhajanena janena kim kartavyam. So the chet srayatam sa yadi kevala bhaktiman arabd. So srayatam sa yadi kevala bhaktiman syat tada bhakti. So market में बहुत हैं. That means Nirguna Shraddha, Satviki Shraddha, Rajasi, Tamasi, Nirguna Sukham, Rajasi, Satvika Sukham, Rajasi, Tamasi. Like this, Nirguna Sukham is there and Traigunya Sukham is there. So what one should do? Then one should do the Kevala Bhaktiman. That means Ananya Bhakta. One should become Ananya Bhakti, Ananya Bhaktaha, Kevala Bhaktaha. Otherwise, Kevala Bhaktiman. That means one should do Kevala Bhakti, Ananya Bhakti. So Bhakti. So by this what? Syat tada punar Kevala Bhaktiman syat tada Bhaktyaiva. So by the doing all the time, Kevala Bhakti means doing 24 hours Sakshat Bhakti, direct devotion. So then what will happen? So Nairgunyam, so Traigunyam Nirjayet. Then he is completely crossing the three gunas. Three modes he will cross by this. So this is recommended. Kevala Bhakti or Ananya Bhakti. By this you can easily conquer the modes. Nirjayet iti ityuktameva. It's already said. Yena ime nirjiyaha. So, okay. Ime nirjitaha saumya gunaha bhakti yogena ityanena purva slokena. So saumya gunaha, then one will be getting the all good qualities definitely by this Ananya Bhakti. Saumya gunaha bhakti yogena ityanena purva. Yena ime, this is a purva sloka na. Yena ime, where is that sloka number? Yene me soike 32nd sloka. Yene me nirjita saumya guna jivena chittajaha bhakti yogena manishto madbhakta bhavaya prapadyante. So gentle Uddhava, all these different phases of conditional life arise from work born of modes. The living entity who conquers these modes manifest from the mind can so dedicate himself to me by the process of devotional service and thus attain pure love. Yena ime, that means etaha samsrutayaha pumsaha gunakarma nibandhanaha. These three modes are the cause for the guna and karma. Yena ime nirjitaha saumya gunaha jivena chittajaha. So by this sloka, yeneme, what is that? Yeneme nirjiyaha saumya gunaha bhakti yogan ityanena purva slokena yadicha. So pradhani bhuta bhaktiman syat tada punar upayantaramapi. That 32 sloka is saying one who is completely coming out from these modes, then only he is able to do Ananya Bhakti. Ananya Bhakti who will do? Who can engage himself in Ananya Bhakti? Whoever is in the mode of, so in the modes, can he do Ananya Bhakti? No. Ananya Bhakti means what? 24 hours doing the Sakshat Bhakti. That means whose mind is not influenced by the Rajas and Tamas. So, and also, so Sattva. Then only one can practice Ananya Bhakti. Ananya Bhakti is done like that. It's not that to do Ananya Bhakti, he said in the 32nd sloka, Bhakti Yoga Manishta Madbhavaya Prapadyante. In the 31st sloka, if you see, Sarve Gunamayaha Bhavaha Purusha Avyakta Dishtitaha Drishtam Srutam Anudhyatam Buddhya Va Varsha. So Purusharshava. O best of human beings, all states of material being are related to the interaction of the enjoying soul, and the material nature. Whatever seen, heard of are only conceived within the mind. They are, without exception, constituted of the modes of nature. So whatever we see, hear, everything is out of modes. Now, etaha samsrutaha pumsaha guna karma nibandhanaha yeneme nirjitaha saumya gunaha jivena so chittajaha bhakti yogena manishtaha madbhavaya prapadyate. So when one conquers these all vrittis, that means in the mind, all these modes effect will be there and different because of these modes, vrittis are coming. When these all modes are when these all vrittis are seized, which are coming out of modes, then only one can do Ananya Bhakti. Bhakti Yogena Manishtaha Madbhavaya Prapadyate. Yes. किंतु येन जीवेन कर्तृ भक्ति योगेन करणेन इमे गुणाः निर्जिताः सह मन्निष्ठ निर्गुणः मद्भक्त मद्भावाय मत्स्वरूपाय तथा मद्भाव. प्रपदन्ति अत्र यान्ति मामेव निर्गुणः इति. अभी देखिए, कर्मीस all activities are कर्मीस। प्रभु ये इसका दे दीजिए। ये तो मेन है इस चैप्टर का, 32, 33, 34, इसीलिए हम लोग रुक गए अभी। कर्मी का एक्टिविटीज, हाउ दे activities, speech, whatever, they are all out of modes, 3 modes. So in this karmis also you can see variations who are influenced by the rajas, tamas, sattva. Okay, now they came in association. So they came in association of the devotee. Then after that they started practicing the bhakti. Okay. So here the point is, if one wants to enter into Ananya Bhakti, what should happen? So for that, to enter into the Ananya Bhakti, his okay, Shraddha he need, that is okay. But if you analyze inside, all his functions of mind and also activities, whatever activities he does, those are all completely free from modes. Those are all completely free from the modes. So that's why who initially karmis, activities, speech, mind, everything is in the modes. Now Ananya Bhaktas, activities, speech, whatever is there, so those are all in the so now beyond the modes. So that's why Kevala Bhaktas or otherwise Ananya Bhaktas, who that person only can do, so whose activities are beyond the modes. So that's why they can say he is always engaged in the Sakshat Bhakti. That is the meaning. So now whoever is not entering into this, then how he will come to this, how to enter into this? Whoever entered into Ananya Bhakti, so we are seeing that, so his activities are so all not out of the modes. That is clear. But whoever is not entering into this, so then they are what they should do. That means Pradhani Bhuta Bhaktas. These are the Pradhani Bhuta Bhaktas. These Pradhani Bhuta Bhaktas, what they should do? What they should do. So to come from, that means karmis, activities are out of the modes. So now Ananya Bhaktas activities are completely free from the modes. From here to here, how to come? Here to here, karmi to the Ananya Bhakta. So that is the point actually he is explaining in this. From what he is saying is saying that Pradhani Bhuta Bhaktiman Syat Tadha Punar Upayantaramapi Traigunya Jaye Asti Ityaha Raja iti. That means he is saying in this, Rajas Tamas Chabi Jayet Sattva Samshevaya Munihi. Sattva Samsevaya Satvikanyeva Seveta iti Pragutta Prakaraya so Nairapekshena Bhaktyutta Vaitrishthyena. So now, so that's why here you should see what he should do. He is not leaving the how to transmigrate. That means how to come to here. This is the goal actually. What he has to do, he has to increase Sattva Samsevaya. See that 34. Rajas Tamas Cha Abhijayet. He has to inquire what he has to do first. This karmi, what he has to do, he is influenced by the mostly, that means Rajas and Tamas and Sattva, but he has to reduce influence of Rajas and Tamas first. He should conquer Rajas and Tamas. That means in this area, what should happen? in this area. That means in the Pradhani Bhuta Bhakti, and tamas has to be suppressed. Sattva samsevaya. Next, what he said? Sattva samsevaya munihi. Then he has to increase he has to do so sattvic activities plus bhakti. By doing this bhakti, what is happening? Even this sattva is also, his activities of sattva is also finished, and then finally, so he will be coming to the Kevala Bhakti. Yes, he will come to the completely, so free from the gunas. He will come to the stage of, so that's why people think that I will not leave the activities of rajas and tamas, and directly I will come to the Ananya Bhakti. Then that is, I want to make a big point. That's why I am making this much exercise here. Prabhupada last lecture, if you hear what he says, you have that. So in that, he says that in the last, by living in villages or otherwise in the farm communities, so he says that the mode of passion and ignorance will be reduced. So that's the same point what he is saying here. To come to the Ananya Bhakti, what should be reduced? Rajas and tamas. We think that why we need to deal the rajas and tamas. Bhakti is pure, bhakti is ultimate. Let me do the bhakti. But Vishwanath, how he is explaining, so karmi to Ananya Bhakta, that is the goal. In between, Pradhani Bhuta Bhakti is also coming. So what Pradhani Bhuta Bhakta should do? Pradhani Bhuta Bhakti means karma also is doing. That Pradhani Bhuta Bhakta so should do, so try to suppress the rajas and tamas. So then one will be, after that, by bhakti, he will be completely coming to the purely goodness. So in the 32, it is said that only 32. What it is saying? 32 is saying, so one, if that means if one practice bhakti, by the practicing bhakti, that means in the Pradhani Bhuta Bhakti is there, na? Pradhani Bhuta Bhakti means so Karma Mishra Bhakti. Bhakti is there. Bhakti is the pure, that means Sakshat Bhakti. By this Sakshat Bhakti, what is going to happen? So Rajas and Tamas and Sattva all are so get suppressed. Then what will happen? So here see in the 32 what is said, Yena ime nirjitaha. So Yena ime saumya gunaha jivena chittajaha bhakti yogena ime. Yena means by the bhakti yoga, in the Pradhani Bhuta Bhakti, karma is done. So which is out of the modes. So this is suppressed by the bhakti, which is there in this Misra Bhakti is there. By this bhakti, so these are suppressed. Then finally, so he is coming to bhakti yogena mannishta madbhavaya prapadyate. Mannishta madbhavaya means he will come to the, so this platform, Ananya Bhakti. That means maybe Dasa Sakya Vatsalya Rasa, he will be trying to so achieve. That kind of target he will put. Is it clear? Ramakrishna Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji, crystal clear.
Yeah. Without transition, people try to jump directly. That's the point I want to mention. It's not so easy.
It was nice, Prabhu, that you took a deep dive and tried to clarify these points.
Yes, yes. So next final one. Tirumala is waiting for last one. Jivo jiva vinirmukto gunaischashaya sambhavai Mayaiva brahmana purno na bahirnantaraschareth. Freed from the subtle conditioning of mind and from the modes of nature born of material consciousness, the living entity becomes completely satisfied by experiencing my transcendental form. He no longer searches for enjoyment in the external energy, nor does he contemplate or remember such enjoyment within himself. So once he is completely transcending the modes, so then he will live the, yeah. So the human form of life is a rare opportunity for achieving spiritual liberation in Krishna consciousness. Lord Krishna has elaborately described in this chapter the characteristics of three modes of nature and the transcendental situation of Krishna consciousness. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has ordered us to take shelter of the holy name of Lord Krishna, by which process we can easily transcend the modes of nature and begin our real life of loving devotional service to the Lord. So that's why Sakshat Bhakti, whatever Sakshat Bhakti we do in Pradhani Bhuta or Ananya Bhakta, Bhakti means what? So Kirtan, Shravanam Kirtanam. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's this holy name, not the Yagya, Yagas, this, that. Thus end the purports of the humble servants of the His Divine Grace, S.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada to the 11th canto, 25th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam entitled The Three Modes of Nature and Beyond. Mataji, you got it? What you
Yes,
learned?
Prabhuji.
What you learned from this?
So don't imitate to do Ananya Bhakti. Try to transcend from Rajas to Sattva and then perform Ananya Bhakti.
Yeah. So activities should be such activities one should do which are sattvic, because they don't have full faith in the Lord. So they should do some activities. Those should be in the sattva guna. So those should be free from the rajas and tamas. Plus bhakti. By doing bhakti, even they will cross that sattva guna also. Finally, they will come to the fully, that means into the nirguna. So then they are eligible to the doing the ananya bhakti, which is the Prabhupada's instruction, last instruction. Okay. Thank you very much, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.